Hi, everyone, and welcome to Education 438, Teaching Reading and Writing in the Content Area. This is your Day 6 overview. It is the first day of week 2, and we've got a plethora of new topics and new content to engage with and to work with this week. I'm currently here in my office on a Sunday afternoon. I'm pretty sure I'm the only person in Hokona. It's a little creepy, but I wanted a quiet space in which I could walk you all through today's goals. So week 2 is going to move heavily into speaking and listening as a literacy strategy in the classroom. So we're going to be working a lot with what whole class discussion and what small group and pair discussion can do to support students as they grow their academic literacies in your particular content area. We're also going to talk about inquiry and how to engage students in asking meaningful questions and discussing those questions and what that looks like. And then we're going to move heavily into vocabulary instruction and how to support students as they learn the vocabulary that is unique to your discipline, but also is important for literacy across contents. So this is going to be a pretty quick video. I don't have much to say. Mondays are going to be pretty chill for the rest of the month because I want to give you all a break after working on your unit plan stages. So this video is going to cover our Day 6 topics, our Day 6 objectives, some essential questions that I want you to think about while you're doing your reading for today, your attendance participation question, and then some quick reminders. So let's jump right into your topics for Day 6. Day 6 is going to engage you heavily in thinking about whole class discussions and how you can use whole class discussions as a way to build content knowledge and language. I am a huge fan of talk in the classroom, whether I'm teaching at the high school level, whether I'm teaching at the college level, whether I'm teaching dance, discussion is huge for me. I think it is the way that we master the content that we are learning. But because a lot of students don't feel comfortable talking in whole class discussions, we're also going to talk about increasing learner confidence through speaking and listening in small groups and pairs. So we've got a lot of Zvere's readings for today, and I know that so many of you are really enjoying the Zvere's text, and I agree. I think it is so useful, and I really hope that you enjoy his discussions and his suggestions for activities that prompt discussion. The other topic that we're going to look at today is some strategies, some frameworks for getting students to ask authentic, meaningful questions in the classroom. Classroom inquiry is huge. I'm a big proponent of project-based learning and inquiry-driven instruction. And so getting students to think about how to create meaningful questions and how to wrestle with those questions is really important. And actually, in week 3, we're going to be engaging in our own inquiry projects here in class. So hopefully this will start getting you to think about that as well. So some objectives for today, you're going to facilitate or explore how to facilitate meaningful classroom talk through engaging with strategies and activities for whole class discussion. These are covered by Zvere's in Chapter 5 of Building Academic Language. Then you will familiarize yourself with ways to increase academic listening, small group discussions, and pair work in the secondary classroom through looking at Chapter 6 of Building Academic Language. Then I have included 2 resources for you to explore that are going to get you to think about developing academic language and thinking skills through creating higher order questions. So one of these is a framework called the question formulation technique. And the other one is one that a lot of my students are already familiar with. This is Costa's levels of questions. So hopefully engaging with those 2 resources will help you think about how to engage your students in meaningful inquiry practices. So here are some essential questions that you can think about as you are reading and annotating and engaging with today's resources. How can we create more student-centered and student-driven classrooms through creating meaningful opportunities for classroom talk and less teacher talk? I think we know that a lot of traditional models of education are kind of based on that sage on the stage model, right? Where the teacher gets up, lectures for hours, shares all, and the students take notes. I want you to think about, okay, how can we do the opposite How can we create more student-centered talk and less teacher talk? I'm not saying that lecture isn't important because sometimes it is. There's a time and place, but we want to vary those instructional strategies up, right? We want to think about pulling back a little bit and stepping into facilitating more student-centered discussions and more student-driven discussions. In what ways can we become better teachers of listening skills? How can we help our students to position academic listening as just as valuable as text comprehension? This is hard, right? I think teachers a lot of times will teach explicit writing strategies, explicit reading strategies, but we don't always teach students what it means to listen well, right? To listen well in small groups, in whole class discussion, in lecture. So it's something that I want you to think about as you're doing today's reading. How can we actively avoid using the trivial pursuit model of education, right? Where we just fire off questions and students just sort of give us back exactly what we want to hear from our lecture, whatever that is, right? This is, of course, called the banking model, Sage on the Stage, as I mentioned earlier. So how can we avoid only using that model by increasing and amping up small scale discussions, pair work, whole class discussions, etc.? What does it mean to engage in meaningful inquiry? How can we help our students develop strategies for asking meaningful, authentic questions that have depth? And honestly, this is important for us too, right? How do we become better teachers in terms of posing inquiry, in terms of posing meaningful questions for our students and modeling what that looks like? So lots of things that I want you to think about today as you're engaging in readings that cover discussion at every level and also inquiry. So your attendance participation question comment. So please comment on this video with your name and your answer to this, or you can email me. I want you to describe a time in your middle or high school experience when small group or whole class discussion was used meaningfully and used as an effective means of building content knowledge. I always think back to, I did a program in high school called We the People. It was a government-focused program. And our teacher for that program was a big fan of Socratic Seminar. And I think that Socratic Seminar, when done well, can be really effective. And for me, it was, right? So briefly describe a time or an experience that you had at the secondary level where discussion was used meaningfully to build content knowledge. Other sort of reminders, our Zoom meeting is tomorrow. I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to it. I really enjoyed last week's. So you will not see an instructional video from me in the morning. You will see, of course, your day overview as always, but you'll get enough of me on the Zoom. So I'll hold back on that instructional video. Your participation will also come from attendance at that Zoom meeting. Some other reminders, please have easy access to your unit plan stage 1 template, as well as to the text you chose for your unit for tomorrow's Zoom meeting. We're going to be doing some work with them. And then just a reminder that your second pod post is coming up tomorrow night. You'll be able to see a detailed breakdown of what that involves. So that's it. This was a very short video. Happy reading today. There are no assignments due. Enjoy your Monday. Just read well, read closely, and think about those essential questions that I posed. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I look forward to our Zoom meeting tomorrow.